My name is Julene Allen, founder of Women for Action, a 501c3 organization which aims to tell stories about the under-recognized contributions of women innovators. You're listening to Straight Talk, No Chaser, where you can tune into independent reporting and genuine conversations.
I'm broadcasting live and on the phone with Rhiannon Charles, co-chair for the Women's March on Washington, Ohio chapter. Just to let our audience know, I actually had the opportunity to attend the Women's March in D.C. with Rhiannon. It was an incredible experience. Also, I accompanied Rhiannon Charles for a couple of the evening festivities in D.C. There were events held in the evening to commemorate the Women's March. On Friday night, there were speaking appearances from attendees such as Michael Moore. We actually missed his entrance, but we had a chance to shake hands with Reverend Jesse Jackson on his way out. For the actual march on Saturday, January 21st, there had to have been at least 1 million people out there. The Women's March on Washington website cited 1.2 million marchers. It took us a few hours before we actually arrived at our meeting location in D.C. So it was no surprise to learn the numbers the next day. In spite, some media saying that it was only, 200,000 or 250,000 people out there, the crowds were massive. At one point, I got separated from Rhiannon and had to walk several blocks to meet her. It almost seemed impossible at some point. But some other exciting news is that Ohio is one of the top 10 states that attended the march in D.C. I have to credit Rhiannon Charles and her co-organizer, Lindsay Shriver, for such an amazing feat. There was a celebration on Saturday night for state organizers like Rhiannon, which I was present for as well. Linda Sorsor, Tiffany Mallory, Carmen Perez, and Bob Bland were all in attendance. For me, it was a great feeling to witness so many women in the same room dancing and celebrating. And all the success and accomplishment was owed to women like Rhiannon Charles here. Welcome, Rhiannon.
Hi, thank you, Doreen, for having me here today.
Well, you sound much better today. We did the live test last night, but you sound great today.
Thank you. Yes, after a night's rest, I am so just busy mobilizing and just providing a platform for people to voice. And we just want to continue to push back on any and all attempts that infringe upon our civil rights. So this is very, very important to me. And I want to thank you too, Jolene, the work you're doing right now, especially with the Lean In Women of Color. I know this is a global initiative, and this is very, very important as well.
I think the initiative is so needed. You and I have talked about, our experience as women of color, especially, being in the military, being women in the military, and then being women of color in the military. The initiative is so needed. I think the timing is great. Simultaneously, we had the Women's March, the organizers that started organizing at the same time when I started kind of planning Lean In Women of Color. So the timing was so great, and our you and I meeting was kind of fascinating. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of it. I mean, you and I both know, like you said, and when any group is marginalized and oppressed, then none of us can thrive. So, with us being women of color, we not only have to face disparities that we may encounter from our race, but as well as our gender. So the intersectionality of Women's March, I feel like it just brings a great message for everyone to understand the feminist movement, especially when we think about some of the racial disparities.
So what do what has been some of your personal experience when it comes to attempting to advance? Can you tell me a little bit about that and how that connects to your involvement with the Women's March?
Yeah, for me, I've faced many challenges throughout my life, just from working in my job right now in corporate. I work for a big hospital organization, and upper leadership, you don't really see too many women, and you particularly don't see any women of color. I know that I have been passed up, and I feel like kind of put to the side when I know that I have the experience, the education, the knowledge, but it's kind of difficult to relate, especially from a hiring manager, when you don't look like them or sound like them, and they perhaps may gravitate towards someone who, they feel like they can connect to better than they can you being a woman of color. So even in my, military career, that was my experience, a lot of sexism and gender bias. So yeah, the Women's March really connected with me in the sense that some of the things that I've experienced, and I actually was seeing this in such a public platform. It was like appalling, and I really couldn't believe it. And so I just decided that in that moment that I needed to do something, and that this time I would no longer be silenced. What I didn't know was that so many other people felt the way that I did, and that is astonishing to me in the sense that I thought we had come so much farther than that. But the good thing about it is that we all are standing here together, and we're marching, and we're voicing out, and we're standing together in solidarity.
Yeah. So when you say that you find there are a lot of people that kind of feel the way you do, I know you were having a little bit trouble kind of organizing women of color attending the march. So have you, from the time you were organizing the march and you and I meeting, have you found, encountered more women of color that are embracing this movement, or is it, is it a bulk of white women per se?
Yeah, I would say that I feel that I do have more women of color that are now embracing the movement. I think in the beginning it was just a lot of they just didn't hear about it. As you know, Women's March kind of went viral through Facebook. It just was kind of swept up pretty quietly. Yeah. And a lot of the initial followers were white women. So they told their friends, and who told their friends, but none of their friends happened to be black or women of color. So that, to me, in a sense, let me know that there is a breakdown, especially when we go to our inner circles, who are your friends? And I feel like we all contribute to that. We all play a factor in that, not just white women, but women of color as well. So once I think a lot of it wasn't the fact that they didn't want to join in, or they didn't support Women's March, they just didn't know about it. Yeah. So once our message kind of reached further out, we began to see more women of color join and support. The other thing is that, women of color, we face so much more challenges. So we may be more concerned about some of the racial inequalities, as well as keep feeding our children or paying our light bill, especially since we received some of the most lowest wages compared to other demographics. So the feminism movement may not be their front concern when you're talking about some of the gender bias and sexism and misogyny that women face. They're more concerned with some of the economic issues that they have.
So do you think that the Women's March is really embracing the issues that women of color are facing? I mean, yeah, we're talking about reproductive health, and that's something that we can women of color can identify with. But you mentioned things like being able to pay the light bill, being a single head of being basically the single, the breadwinner, pretty much. So do you think that the march is embracing our needs?
Yes, I definitely feel that they are. They understand that minority women, which includes the LGBTQIA community, as well as women of color, they understand that, or we understand that they need, they are in critical need right now. And so they are the prime focus when it comes to women's rights, because they are the most oppressed. So, yes, I definitely feel like we are addressing those concerns, and we understand where our critical needs are. And our followers as well, I believe that they are now understanding it more if they haven't before, and are standing in solidarity with us as well. Reproductive rights, that's definitely an issue. But when you look at women of color being some of the largest demographic for abortion rates, you're talking about poverty there. You're talking about healthcare inequality. And so, I mean, there's so many factors and layers when it comes to feminism, and this doesn't stop at our reproductive issues. So, I definitely know that Women's March are embracing those concerns, and women of color minorities are literally at our prime focus.
So, Rhiannon, what would you say to people who say that the organizers, it did look like it was kind of set up where they were tokens? So you had one black woman, you had one Muslim woman, you had one Latina, and one white woman. How the platform kind of looked like it was made up that way.
Well, we want to be as inclusive as possible, and to be inclusive, you have to have people represent everyone. So we have our national co-chairs. I mean, it was founded by a white woman, but obviously we understood that we need some diverse leadership. So we've gotten Tamika Mount and Carmen Perez and Linda Sartor, who are already big activists in communities. So even though it may appear as tokens, but they're representing different groups, and that's much needed. We could not. How can you speak upon civil rights for African Americans or Muslims, or even some of the immigration policies that the new administration tried to put forth, when you don't have anyone to represent them? You can't speak for them. If you haven't faced those challenges yourself, you don't know how that feels. If you haven't walked that life or been in their shoes, you can't speak upon it. So what I'm proud most about Women's March is that we've provided a platform that represents everyone in our country.
So tell me about the up-and-coming strike, the Day Without a Woman, on March 8th.
Yeah, the Day Without a Woman it's intended to the economic impact and show the power of women and our purchasing power. And we are asking women who have the ability to not go into work, to not go into work. And we're making a statement. We are also asking women to, it could be paid labor or unpaid labor. But we're asking them to strike against any of that. And we're also asking women just to be aware of their purchases made that day. So, refrain from purchasing at maybe fast food chains or retail, where we know a lot of women hold those positions and they're paid in very, very low wages and not even enough to support their family. So we are trying to demonstrate economic impact and just express and let people know that what would a day be without women? I mean, I don't think we could thrive or survive if we weren't present. And I think that just goes to show you how we definitely deserve a seat at the table. And so David, we're just trying to demonstrate and bring awareness to, again, sexism and racism and discrimination.
So I've told people like my mother, you know, if you can't take the day off of work, then don't buy gas on March 8th. Don't go grocery shopping on March 8th. Do it the day before. So do you think something like that is effective? Should we be telling people that? How?
Yes,
yeah. Okay.
Yes, I do. Yes, I think all of that is very, very effective and it's important. And yes, I would try to refrain from doing any spending that day. And, you know, do it the day before, like you said, in preparation. We're also asking people to wear red that day.
Okay.
To demonstrate and let them know that we are in unity. Yeah, and then also attend our rally here in Columbus, Ohio. We have an all-women platform. We will have all-women-owned food truck vendors.
Okay.
And we'll have all-women speakers and a band. And so, yes, if you are going to spend money, spend them to businesses that are owned by women or minorities. And the reason for that is because they are the ones who are in the most need right now.
So, women of color are less likely to take the work off that day. We've already said that, you know, they can basically, you know, don't patronize businesses on that particular day. Is there, and they can wear red. Is there anything else that we should be thinking about, how to commemorate that day, for the women's strike?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just those calls to actions would be great for people just to continue to follow that and continue to follow Women's March and just continue to stand up and voice out. But yeah, that's basically what that day is all about.
Well, Rhiannon, that's all the questions I have for now, unless there was something else that you wanted to share with our audience. I appreciate you joining me for my first live stream broadcast for Straight Talk.
Yeah, thank you again, Jolene. I just ask that people just continue to follow Women's March. They can go to womensmarch.com. That's our national website. And continue to follow our 10 calls to action. We'll post those every 10 days for the first 100 days of the president's presidency. Yeah. And the one right now we have is how to host the town hall, which I'm even learning myself. I'm a new organizer. I've never participated in any community activism until now. So if I can do this, pretty much anybody can do this. So yeah, how to host a town hall is the one we have now. You can just gather some groups of friends and you can invite your members of Congress or elected officials, but if they don't want to show up, you continue to show up and show out and let them know that they need to hear our voice. So yeah, just continue to follow us. And then Women's March Ohio, we have a Facebook page. It is Women's March Ohio chapter. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, and those are Ohio Women's March, and then our website is OhioWomen'sMarch.com. But yes, thank you so much, Jolene. I appreciate you having me here today. And please, everyone, come out to our rally on March 8th at Goodell Park from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. We'll have food trucks, music, and some speakers for you. I'm sure everyone will enjoy it.
Well, Rhiannon, thank you so much, and thank you for all the amazing work you do. I've told you countless times that what the work you've done is absolutely amazing. If it has not hit you that you are a heroine yet, then I'm letting you know now. The work is absolutely amazing. So moving forward, this is probably the last question I'm going to ask you. What is, beyond the women's strike, what is the Women's March Ohio plans? You know, what is the long-term plans for your chapter?
Our long-term long-term plans, or just to continue to just be active and provide a voice. I especially want to provide a voice for the voiceless, those who can't stand up, maybe some of those who are undocumented immigrants in our country. I just want to let them know that they are welcome and that we are a society that where everyone should be created equal. So for Women's March Ohio, just continue to create a platform for everyone, and even with mentorship, I've had a lot of people contact me and ask me, how can I be an impact? What can I do? I want to do more. Some people are strong in other areas than others, and with working even with Lean In, I just started a Lean In Columbus Circle last week. Well, we'll have speakers come in and talk to women and give them tools to how to position themselves, whether it's at work or even in the community. So yeah, just being able to just be supportive and have a group of people who are like-minded in a sense that we want everyone to be able to thrive. And so yeah, but that's basically my goal for Women's March Ohio.
Well, thank you for joining us, Rhiannon Charles.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.